Lucky enough to be joining us again this year. Miss Beal will be joining us as well as part of our team. She's not here tonight, but she will be here. So thank you to all of you for being here. We're going to start foundational stuff here, kind of your introductions here, and then we will break out in groups so that you can get kind of more of the specifics and have that one-on-one with the teachers, with who you'll be working with and who can give you those extra questions and fill you in on some of those details. So is it recording now? Thank you. And I'll try and stick to my script so that I don't go off. The cost, you guys don't have to pay, just in case you didn't know that. You are working, so we don't pay you either, but you don't have to pay, so there is no cost for you. The camp, if you haven't been, how many have been to science camp before as a chaperone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look around. Keep your hands up. Those are who you're going to want to go to, because they're the ones that are going to know what you're getting into. But I thank you for coming back. So you must have had a positive experience, or you were wrangled in and they really needed you. So either way, I appreciate you for being here. How many of you have had a student that's gone through science camp? Okay, so some of you have had that as well. Very good. So you probably have some background and some information on that. If you didn't know, it is in Occidental, outside of Santa Rosa, kind of in that Napa area. The students are in cabins with school groups, and then they break out into what we call nature groups or animal groups. You must ride on that very long bus ride to and from. If you are a chaperone that cannot go on the bus, you cannot be a chaperone. I understand for some people it is very difficult, but it is one of the requirements as a chaperone to ride the bus. No exceptions. Medical exceptions do not count, then you're not able to be a chaperone. So I want to make sure I make that very clear. Chaperones are also with the students in the cabins at all times. Females and girls are in girls' cabins, and of course males and boys are in boys' cabins. The showering will be happening before breakfast usually, or at nighttime. That's going to be something that you're going to be working out with a schedule with your cabin groups. When you shower, I don't know, good luck. I have no idea. Maybe your breaks, but hopefully you work yourself into that schedule, especially with the girls. This is camp. We're there to camp. We're not there to primp and do makeup and those kind of things. We're we're in and out of there. There are a lot of people that need a shower, so it's going to need your assistance in helping them to kind of push through. And that goes for boys too. I know my son likes to take very long showers. He gets distracted in there, and then before you know it, time's gone on. So we want to get them out of there too. So you can divide it up. If you're someone like me, you might take a shower at night, and that can help you in the morning. So you can divide up your group and see, or rotate that. Some of you take them at night, some of you take them in the morning, however you want to be able to do that. You also are going to want to maintain order and discipline in the cabin, but this is going to be a little bit more up to you in really doing that and how you want to establish that groundwork, but you're going to want to establish it early. The earlier on those expectations are set, the easier it's going to be for you in that week. It's 4 days, but 4 days can seem like a long time if you are struggling maintaining that order in that cabin. Really stick to lights out. You really want to do that. The first night, they tend to stay up a little bit later because they're having fun and they're excited and they can't get to sleep, their anxiety. Or it's the opposite, they're really homesick and having a hard time. And you want to be there to, be sympathetic with them, but you really want to try your best to keep that routine, especially that first night. It's going to be very difficult. The next day will be very busy and very packed, and they will have a hard time if they're not getting their sleep. So try and stick to when those lights out are. The days are pretty strenuous, but very fun, and they're packed. So some of the activities are a ropes course, which is kind of like a challenge course. Doesn't mean physically there are ropes there for every activity, but they are challenge courses. During the challenge courses, as a chaperone, we're going to work really hard to encourage students to do what they can. It doesn't mean they have to complete the challenge course. One of them, for example, is a pole, and you climb up a very tall pole, a telephone pole. And once you climb on that, you are strapped in and you have the belays and everything. You're to stand on the top of that pole and then jump off and try and ring a bell. For some students, standing on the pole is hard anyways. Bottom line, that's a difficult thing to do. It's not one that a lot of kids are able to do because it is very difficult. But some of them, it is just very scary for them. If it is, they say, no, 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 I'm not doing it. Encourage them, all the students go on the hike, but we have had a couple where it becomes very difficult for them because they are scared. So if you see that, you can lean to the naturalist. They can help support you with that and reduce that anxiety. If need be, you can reach out to the teacher, and maybe one of the teachers or the staff members on board can help you with that as well. You are going to be responsible for a skit. There is a sample schedule in your packet, so you can look at that to kind of get an idea of the activities that happen. On Thursday night, the night before, is our skit night. And it's really one of the most popular, fun. Who doesn't come to science camp, or any camp for that matter, and get excited about a skit? There are some ideas. I put a website up there you can look at. The Campground Alliance will also give you ideas like little skit cards, and they will do skits that way if you would like to use some of those. They help provide props for you. If there are some of those people in the audience right now who have done skits, you can reach out to them and ask them what they have done in the past. You can ask students that have been on science camp before, if you have some that you know that have been on science camp, and ask them what some of the popular ones are. They are to be funny, they're short, very short, but they're just fun, and it's really about the kids bonding together in the cabin and putting together and working together as a team to develop a skit. So it's fun. The skit also should be about the students. We want the students on stage. I know some of us enjoy the spotlight, but it's not about us, it's about them. So we want to really encourage them, right, Mr. Judd? Them, not you, them. So be sure to encourage them. We want as many of them participating. We don't want to put them in a place where they are uncomfortable, but try and find a role or a way that they can participate, even if they don't want to be one of the main people. But you also don't want one person to take over the whole thing. You want as many of your cabin members participating in one way, shape, or form. There, in that sample schedule that you look at and you go over, there are breaks for you. Please take advantage of those breaks. There's breaks for you specifically, meaning just you. You don't have to be in charge of students. There's also breaks like flat on back time, where you bring students back, and they call it FOB. Please take advantage of flat on back time. That shouldn't be a time where kids are being rambunctious. That's a time for you to relax, decompress. It's not that they can't talk, but really take advantage of that. Some of them might relax more, but they can quietly work or quietly talk, but you're going to want to decompress and use that time. So take advantage of them when you can. And then when there are activities, you will get a schedule. Please be on time, if not a little bit early. You don't want to be the one cabin group or the one group that they're all waiting for, because that holds up the activity. They can't go on a hike until they have everybody, and then that will make that activity shorten. It'll shorten the hike. If you're going to a challenge, some groups are a little bit larger, or if students are taking a long time to get the encouragement and to kind of build themselves up to do an activity, it can take sometimes a long time to get through a challenge course. And if you're also not on time, that can sometimes keep from everybody participating. Possibly even you. Again, it's about the students, but there will be possibly opportunities for adults to do the challenge courses. But be on time, so then we have the full amount of time to do the activities. So you really want to be sure that you are adhering to that schedule. There is not a nurse on staff in some of the Alliance paperwork, I try and repeat that because there isn't a nurse. They refer to it as a nurse, but it's a medic. There's a medic. There will be students with medication. They do not have medication on them. They will need to go to the medic for the medication. So you're not going to be responsible for distributing them, but you need to understand that some of your students might need medication. Some of the times if they take it at breakfast, a lot of times the medic will come to them. They refer to them as the nurse, but they will come to you at breakfast time. But depending on the time of the medication, they may have to go, or you may need to take them to the area, which you will get that in the beginning. But just so you know, you won't have to distribute that. Anytime students are out and about, if they do go to get the medication, they always should have a buddy with them everywhere they go. Students should not be alone, so one other partner. And so you might want to partner your students up when you get there so that they have partners to go to and from. If you get to breakfast, oh, I forgot something, or I need to go get something, you know, you always want to be sure that they have buddies wherever they go. If they left it on they left their backpack on the basketball court, you know, send a buddy with them to go get that. And a lot of this stuff, I'm giving you the foundation, but it will be reiterated at camp. But sometimes we get those questions, and so making sure that you understand that. Now, drop-off luggage will be on Monday night. That goes for all of you that are here. We want to drop off. If you haven't been to Placer after school, I wouldn't do it right after school, unless you're already picking up from Placer. You know, just with traffic and pickup and drop off, that's crazy at any school, but you'll want to be sure to get it there before 6 p.m. Monday night. The idea is we are to get tags, and those tags will color coordinate with your school. So they do a really good job, our maintenance department, of picking up the luggage, and they lay it out pretty well at science camp. This is my 4th year doing it. I haven't really seen luggage, I haven't heard of luggage missing. Not to say maybe it's happened, but they do a really good job, and it's organized very well, and we do not have problems with that. And then the pickup is Friday afternoon. So when we come back, you'll need to pick it up from Placer, and the same thing before 6 p.m. on Friday. And it does say 1 bag only, so you have a bag and you have a pillow, just one. You don't need any more than that. Safety at camp, food is not allowed. Now, some may have some dietary restrictions, some of the students, and we will make accommodations, and that will be per student depending on what's happening, but we do not want food in the cabins. A lot of us already, we live in the country and we understand that there are animals and they can get into cabins, and we've noticed a lot with the droughts that animals are coming in and seeking those water and that food more than we have seen in the past. And there is a possibility of bears. So if they do smell that, or they do think that food is in a room, they will find a way to get in there and get it. So it's not just about being strict about not having food, but you don't want to bring it. The other thing is you don't need it. You really don't need it. The food is good, you get fed a lot. We haven't really had any problems with students needing more food. The only thing is, like I said, dietary restrictions if we have an issue like that. There are no phone calls that should be going in and out for students. Also, we are role models there, and you want to be doing the same. If you're on your phone texting or using it, then that's not being a very good role model to the students. However, we do know a lot of time your phone is used for camera. If you're using it for a camera, we'll know you're using it for a camera. The other thing is there's really no service up there. It's very, very hard to get service up there anyways, so you don't really need it to make those phone calls. If there's an emergency or on one of your breaks you want to call home and check in, you can do that. They have a lounge that you can go sit in, and they have a landline, and you can use that, and it doesn't cost anything. You can call out through there. But it's really hard to get incoming and outgoing phone calls. Sometimes when you're on the top of the mountain, you can get something, but unless there is an emergency, let's try and avoid the cell phone usage. There is disciplinary policy that's up there. They do have rules and expectations. The rules that are here at your school site will be the same that are over there. It's not any different. There just might be some different expectations because of where we're at. And that will be taught to the students, that they will go over, the naturalists will go over that with the students, as well as you will go over that within the cabin. But, you know, some of them kind of quickly to share with you is you're not to go into other cabins. Even if there are other girl cabins, just avoid it all the way across the board. That will just keep from any issues happening or any speculation of anything. Just stay in your cabins. You can, a student can stay on the outside if they're waiting, but for the most part, you're going to be going as cabin groups to and from everywhere, so there's really no reason. But if somebody grabbed your sweater and they need to go and get the sweater, they wait outside the room, and they can get the sweater that way. I'm just using that as an example. But don't go in any of the cabins. There are behavior contracts that the students are signing. We have yet to send, since I've been on the trip, we haven't sent students home. I've been in Loomis Union School District for 4 years, but even prior to being in Loomis Union School District as a teacher and going on camp myself, it's very interesting. Students tend to rise above and rise up in situations like this. Some of the students that you find the most challenging and the most difficult can sometimes be your star students on these science camp trips, because they're in their element. They are excited. They want to be there. They're encouraged. They're engaged. They're just really enjoying themselves, and you're really impressed with how well they do. We have not had a lot of problems, but you know, you expect the worst and hope for the best. And maybe some of that is because we've had such great chaperones that come and really do a good job with the kids and work well with them. The naturalists will be there to help with a lot of those behaviors, not just you. They do give out what they call steps. So you will, and they're kind of warnings, and they'll go over the step process, not to overwhelm you, but there will be like a word warning, and then as if they get too many steps, you know, calling home, meeting with me, whatever that may be, kind of the same things that you may do in a school process or a school program, the disciplinary process. And then eventually, of course, you know, they could go home, but we haven't ever had that problem. The naturalists also, you will have meetings in the morning, and the naturalists will share with you, or they will share, they share with the staff and with us students that are on steps. The staff and the teachers, myself, we try to not jump in and discipline the students. We leave that up to the naturalist and the teacher and the chaperone, unless we see a need to step in or unless we hear from you. Because if we start stepping in and disciplining the kids, that undermines all of you as a chaperone. Then why are you there? So we will look for you to help with that, but if there is something, we're there for support. We want to be there for you, but we don't want to undermine what you're doing, and we don't want to undermine what the naturalist is doing. So just keep that in mind. But if we hear that they're having steps, maybe myself or one of the teachers will shadow that group, because they see that there might be some problems happening, and if we need to remove a student or discuss it with the students, we will do that, and we'll step in. So we will encourage that. The counting students is a really good way as you are doing activities and bringing them in, using the restroom. A management skill is counting them. So when they come to you and meet with you, or when you set meeting points, they can count off really quickly. It'll really help you on that night hike when you can't see who you're needing and you want to count them. So you want to bring them in. Visitation of parents. This is something that came up a little bit more last year, and it's becoming a little bit more prominent. We're not keeping parents from kids. If there is someone outside of the chaperone group that comes up, we are hoping that they let the teachers know that they're interested in coming up and visiting their child, or let the principal know that they're coming up and visiting their child. It isn't that it's not allowed, but it's really not necessary. Some of them, they just want to come up and see what science camp is all about, and that's okay. But if you see that a parent shows up in your group, you want to make sure that maybe you touch base, whether it be a naturalist or a staff member or myself, that they have checked in. They are to check in. I need to know that they're there. I usually escort them, and they need to have, given us their driver's license, and we look at all of those aspects. If they're just there for a short period of time, then that's fine, and we still check them in and we do all of that. Some of them stay nearby and come on a regular basis, which I don't really encourage as well. But if they do that, we ask them to attend a chaperone meeting. They need to know what's going on and being a part of that, because then if they're there, we'll put them to work. So they're not just there to have fun, we will put them to work. But please let us know if that does happen. We can't keep parents from kids, but we kind of want to encourage that independence while they are there. And that's something that they should be there, kind of being a part of the group. And sometimes when the parents come in, they can kind of muddy the waters. The same reason we don't step in for disciplinary issues, we don't want a parent coming in and stepping on your toes as well. So we want to make sure that we support you in that role, but letting us know if you're not sure about something, please share that with us. Transportation, I kind of went over this with you about the colored tags. Last year they did not arrive in time. The goal is that they arrive ahead of time so that you have them. If you don't, we put yarn or rope and we color coordinate that. But you will get that, and that's to put on your luggage. And again, I kind of explained that. That was in a previous slide, so I'm repeating that. Transportation, as I said, it's a school bus that you are riding on, and you must ride on the school bus the entire ride. You are responsible for the students. The second you get on that bus and you're off, you're responsible for them. There will be staff there. There will be extra cars there. So if you do need a car, not you specifically need a car, but if there is like a situation or something going on, there are cars on campus. There are administrators that will be coming and going. I will be there the entire time from Tuesday through Friday, but I know Mr. Judd's coming up, Mr. Lockwood's coming up, and Dr. Meyer, you're coming up. So I know there is an administrator coming and going at all times. So if there's an emergency or something needed, one student needed batteries for their hearing aid, we can do those things. So there will be cars there if we need it for emergencies. Most of us are leaving at 8 a.m. except Ofer. They leave their campus a little bit earlier, right, Kimberly? Yes, I know she's not happy with that. But the scheduled time to be home is ideally 2 p.m. We're leaving the Bay Area on Friday. I don't know what to expect. We don't know what to expect. Whether it be an accident on the road that we can't, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. So we try for 2 p.m. So the staff and administrators are contacting the secretaries, who are then feeding information out to the parents so they know when to arrive. So you don't need to be texting all the parents telling them, we're late, we're this and that. We will take care of that. We'll do that. But just so you know, we try for 2 p.m., but don't plan on having an appointment at 3 p.m. Because my guess is that just might not happen. We try very hard, but you don't know what's going to happen.
When do we get when we take responsibility of our little group of minions?
When you find out who they are? That's a great question.
Well, not really so much when we find out who they are, but I mean, right when we get on the bus, okay, these kids are yours, is that how it is? Or you know what I mean?
That is a good question when you go into your breakouts to ask the teachers in the breakout. They can give you a little bit of a better idea. The reason I want to answer that is a lot of schools do it differently, so they'll answer that. So I don't know how they'll do that, but that's a good question, so you can ask that. There is paperwork for you to fill out. Ask the teacher when you get into the breakout session when they would like that paperwork back from you. We do need it prior to science camp. Every chaperone needs that. And I know some of it is redundant, but that's what we need from each of you. Again, the expectations, you're a role model. Please keep to the camp rules, as well as the school rules. They are applied. Encourage positive attitude. We're there to be positive and have a good time. The more positive you are and happy you are, you will spread that throughout. You're smiling and excited, they'll be smiling and excited. But if we're not, and we're not having that positive outlook or that positive look on something that may be a difficult situation, we really want to try and spin that, because if we're not, that can bring the rest of the group down. So we really want to encourage that positive attitude and spread that. This is about the students. We want the best experience for them. We want them coming back, talking about what a great experience this is. I went to camp when I was younger. I don't know if all of you did, but I have a very positive experience and I remember it. It's something that you take forever, and it's a memory that you have forever. So please, please encourage and have the best experience and get them involved as much as you can and have fun with it. You want to develop a sense of community. For those of you who have done science camp before, sometimes the science camp chaperones bring a little bit of something, whether it be a bandana, the same color bandana that they all wear, and they kind of shows that community and coming together. One year, I think it was at Franklin, they all had like Elmo or Grover hats or something. So some of you are very creative. Some do little mini backpacks that they decorate, or little bracelets. But talk to other chaperones, or in your breakout sessions, they might be able to share some ideas. But really bringing that sense of community. The skit will do that too for them, but you want to bring that sense of a community for them. And explain about our students with the needs and that of the support staff. Anything that you see that you need us to know, share, and we will also do the same. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for signing up. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything. This is, for a lot of you, I know you're taking off vacation time from work to be able to do this. And we really appreciate it, because we really could not do it without all of you. So thank you for being here and being a part of this group. You guys will forever be bonded as well, especially as your students move onward and upward. So I can answer some of the questions. I may not be able to answer all of them, and then I want to get you into breakout. So is there some general questions for the group that I can possibly answer? Say that again?
Mosquitoes, we need to spray.
Yeah, sometimes there are mosquitoes. I've noticed mosquitoes have been worse this year. I don't know, but what do you guys? I don't always feel like there's a ton of mosquitoes, really, right? Yeah, there's not a big issue with that. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes, you will take a stop. You each do take a stop, and it's the one right before Vallejo, the park there, Magic Mountain. What's it called? Oh, that rest stop. Right. Yeah, that rest stop right there. Everybody stops there on the way there, and everybody stops there on the way back. So thank you. Good question. One stop, yeah. Yep.
Happy hour for the chaperones, what time?
No. Sorry. Friday, VC, hopefully 7, I don't know. Breakout sessions, I'm going to break you guys out, and we'll start